This is JC Setting the Record Straight podcast. I'm your host, JC. On this channel, we set the record straight. That means we fact check and correct commonly believed misinformation and propaganda. In the beginning, God created Adam and Eve. God did not create Adam and Eve out of love, for it is impossible to love those who do not yet exist. God created Adam and Eve because he is an evil narcissist who needed slaves to subjugate and oppress. The criminal heterosexual was made in the image of this false God, and he procreates for the very same reason. Sex between man and woman is the original sin. Every other sin is a derivative of the sin of heterosexuality. Sex between man and woman is the moving force behind all suffering in the world. Without sex acts between man and woman, evil could not be replicated. Given the high risk that life may be imposed onto non-consenting human beings, sex between man and woman is inherently perverse and can only be mitigated through contraception. Ethical gays reject heterosexualism for this very reason. The heterosexual criminal creates all the problems in the world, and he has all the solutions. The criminal heterosexual is in a hell that is entirely of his own making. Although the criminal heterosexual has created the world in his image, he thinks that nothing is his fault. His solutions are to scapegoat ethical gays, to abuse children into being criminal heterosexuals just like him, to worship a false god, and to exploit women. The criminal heterosexual has employed these same solutions for tens of thousands of years, and he keeps getting the same results. Men are inherently degenerate. Whereas the criminal heterosexual prefers to spread his degeneracy to women and children, the ethical gay contains his degeneracy among men. Homosexuality is a philosophy of contained degeneracy. Conversely, heterosexuality is a conspiracy by men to defile women and to breed children into hell. The difference between the ethical gay and a criminal heterosexual is that the criminal heterosexual is not aware of the fact that he is degenerate. The criminal heterosexual is a virtue stealer. His self-esteem is predicated upon stripping women of their virtue and taking it for himself. The criminal heterosexual loves nothing more than defiling women and trapping them with children to raise. Heterosexuality is inherently inegalitarian. Men and women can never be equal, especially when it comes to procreation. The criminal heterosexual knows that he is unworthy of trust, submission, or commitment, but he demands it anyway. His goal is to destroy the lives of women. The children are just collateral damage. The criminal heterosexual cannot enjoy destroying the lives of women unless all men participate. The fact that some men refuse to participate is a constant reminder of his shame and inferiority. The criminal heterosexual's disdain for the ethical gay is rooted in self-loathing. The criminal heterosexual hates himself and therefore hates anyone who finds him desirable. The criminal heterosexual hates the ethical gay for finding him desirable, but feels slighted when the ethical gay doesn't find him desirable. The criminal is confused. If the criminal heterosexual was really competing for women, then ethical gays would pose no threat to him. However, the criminal heterosexual does not compete for the affections of women. He competes for the affections of men. The criminal heterosexual accuses ethical gays of being degenerate, disease spreaders, and a corrupter of children. These are all projections. The criminal heterosexual is the progenitor of all evil. He created us, we did not create him. The ethical gays are incapable of creating evil. We can only manifest the evil that was put in us by the criminal heterosexual. The ethical gay has done nothing to the criminal heterosexual except live his life. The criminal heterosexual doesn't believe that the ethical gay has the right to the pursuit of happiness, but should sacrifice his life in furtherance of his evil patriarchy. Ethical gays never consented to being members of anyone's families, nor do we have a duty to create one of our own. It is the criminal heterosexual who imposed life onto the ethical gay and compelled him to a life of drudgery. Still, the criminal heterosexual hates the ethical gay because of his abstention from participating in the criminal heterosexual conspiracy to destroy the lives of women and children. As an ethical gay, I take the role of manhood seriously. I would never exploit women's bodies for my own sexual gratification and then whine about having to provide for said woman and child. Heterosexuality is against my religion and code of ethics. I refuse to use women for sexual pleasure or to breed children into hell. Hey, yo, y'all gotta get out of here with that straight shit. Dropping the ball on women and children is a conduct reserved for the criminal heterosexual. The criminal heterosexual impregnates women with no provision. The criminal heterosexual creates ethical gays and then blames them for rejecting his misogynist oppression. O heterosexual, wherefore art thou responsibility? If the criminal heterosexual had any morals, he would repent and turn gay. I was bred into hell by criminal heterosexuals and have experienced a lifetime of suffering as a result. I was neglected and abused by criminal heterosexuals, and I'm currently being abused by the state-run capitalistic wage slave system. Heterosexuality is cruel and unjust. Why should I have to suffer and die because my parents chose to be straight? Throughout history, the criminal heterosexual has massacred ethical gays, subjected ethical gays to electroshock therapy, persecuted and marginalized us. Still, the criminal heterosexual thinks he has a right to fear us when it is the ethical gay who should fear him. In spite of everything, I don't hate heterosexuals. I have had friends who were straight, my parents are straight, my brother is straight. I am even nice to straight people who I encounter at work. Where is my fucking cookie? The criminal heterosexual has had his chance to rule society, and he has failed miserably. The criminal heterosexual has convinced us that he is the ideal man. The criminal heterosexual is a shill who has deceived us all. At the heart of the heterosexual's criminality is anti-intellectualism. The criminal heterosexual is an unthinking brute who has no awareness of his evil. The criminal heterosexual is a slave to nature, which is why his actions are so ungodly. He thinks that the way things are is the way things must be. We are fast approaching the age of Aquarius, an age for which the heterosexual brute will lose his death grip over humanity. The feminine shall reign supreme. Although criminal defendants are ordinarily entitled to a presumption of innocence, the criminal heterosexual does not deserve a trial, for he flagrantly admits his crimes. In fact, he is proud of them. The brutish ways of the criminal heterosexual shall heretofore be extirpated from civilized society. Thanks for your support. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you will know when I upload new content.